Mike, mute your phone, dude.
This fucking dude.
We're recording. All right, so I wanted to change up how we do our videos a little bit because unfortunately I was not there when you wrapped up the Hulmeville house, and Jay did the video or the recording. He was the cameraman that day. For those who don't know, Jay is Mike's new apprentice.
Hello, I am Jay, and I work for Mike.
Jay's been doing a good job as an apprentice. Unfortunately, he's not the best cameraman. His camera skills are not that bad. It's more so his breathing into the camera that didn't pan out so good. So
come up the steps here.
Going up the step.
now I'm going to kind of roll through the footage that Jay took, and then Mike and I will kind of talk about it. And this will be our video as we talk about the Hulmeville wrap up. Mike, mute your phone, dude.
This fucking dude.
We're recording.
Clogged toilet.
Shitter was full.
On a Sunday night.
No,
He told me, yeah, he plunged the crap out of it, he said.
So anyway, getting back to the Hulmeville video, I did want to point out to you that one of our beloved viewers was talking smack, saying we probably haven't been working on any videos because we're stuck on this Hulmeville house, and I wanted to
What does he
point
think
that.
I'm still there right now?
Yeah, so someone asked us, Shalom, please make more videos, Sadiq. I said, hopefully soon. And then Zarup said, we're dead. Come on, Zarup. And then this guy, yeah, he likes us. But then our boy Tuck, who is a fan, but I think he was really busting our stones, says, there has to be a story here, or that Hulmeville property is kicking the ever living.
Yeah, the grenades blew me up. That's
Yeah.
probably what he's thinking.
So we'll get to the grenades in a minute, but I did want to point that out to you because I thought you'd get a kick out of that. So anyway, back to the video. So let's kind of take a walk through the video here. Talk me through where we're at and what you did with the outside of this property here. I'll have some flashback footage of what it looked like.
So it's just the front of the house. I did some pavers up front. I re-sided it, re-roofed it, redid the soffit. Those windows are existing, but I built that little I forget what it's called. It's an
Yeah,
overhang.
you never figured out what that thing's called.
I have a word. There's a word, but I forget what it is.
Okay, it does look very nice.
Yeah, it came out decent.
And then one of the things I meant to ask you about this, I'm pretty sure I remember correctly, but did you take permits out for all of this?
Yes, I did. Because they
Because
called me. They called me half a day in. I, I guess the seller who didn't want to go to settlement called the township the day I settled on the property,
oh man, we
and
should
I
do
was
a video about that story.
yeah. So I was barely even. I wasn't even working on it. I was just like looking around. They're like, "You going to work?" I'm like, "I was planning on it. I don't know. Let me see what I'm going to do." And then so the zoning officer was pretty cool. It's a small little borough, so they probably pull about 3 permits total a year. So I pulled a couple of permits, cost me 700 something bucks, and you know that was that.
And do you remember? I think what did you buy it for? 190?
Yeah,
You bought it for 190. Do you remember how much? Did you ever add up how much you put
I
into it?
never added it, but probably 70 or something, and then it appraised for 400.
Wow, it appraised for 400. I didn't know it
Yeah, so
appraised that high.
the 70 is material and
Some
other
labor.
contractors' labor, and then obviously, I mean, I'm not accounting for my labor, but
Yeah, and then you're keeping this as a rental property, correct?
yeah, so I refinanced. It took,
Oh,
I
you
think
did
I only took,
refinance this.
yeah, I think I only took 60% out,
Okay.
and so my mortgage payment's 1,900. It's supposed to be like 17 something because when I refinanced it, I had to show my builder's risk policy, and it's a lot higher than a regular homeowner's insurance, and then never readjusted my escrow. But basically, it should be around right now. It's 19 something. It should be around 17 something, and I ran it for 2,500.
Okay. Did you consider selling?
I did. I mean, I always consider selling, but I don't know. The property taxes are super cheap.
Yeah, that's one thing, right? What are the property taxes, like 2,500?
I don't even think they're that much. I thought they
Wow.
were like 19 or something. They might be like 22, somewhere between like 1,900 and 2,500. But property taxes are super cheap. It's in a good school district,
Yeah,
and
so this is Neshaminy School District, where if you watch our Langhorne video, that's same school district, but Langhorne, Middletown Township is really high property taxes. You're talking anywhere from four to $6,000 a year for probably this size house. Where if you're down around two here, that's really nice. I guess because this is considered Hulmeville Borough.
yeah, and it's an older house from the early 1900s. Small, well, I don't know. According to them, it's a little bit smaller. It might get reassessed because I did put a dormer on it, so I'm waiting for that to come in. The reassessment once you add square feet, which I don't know, that's technically adding square feet. So it might come in a little bit higher or it might get reassessed. But regardless, it's still below property taxes and my margins on rent, to mortgage is pretty cheap. So
Mhm. All right, so we're walking in here. We get inside and talk to us about what we did in this little front area and what it used to
this,
be.
this is basically a friggin' porch that was converted into a living space before I bought the property. And I kept it that way and just finished it off, put a laundry room to the right, a walk-in room to the left. Basically called it a day.
And
Where
this
that
coat
big,
closet's new, isn't it? Yep,
I mean, I
right
just built
here.
a little coat. Yeah, I just built a little coat closet right there.
And I also
Um,
noticed I think there's a soffit right above this. Yeah,
for my HVAC. This house was a pain, very painful to run HVAC. There's no crawl space. There's no attic, so I had to build soffits for my HVAC.
gotcha.
And it's 3 layers of brick on the existing
Yeah, so
foundation walls. So
right
right there,
here, I'll cut back to because I actually have video of you from like when you first got the place talking about how big that brick is and how much of a pain in the neck it was. So basically, you left most of it. You popped a couple holes in there, right? But
yeah.
left it, and then just what? Do you first strip it?
I actually built a wall in front of it.
Okay, so you build a wall and then attach the sheetrock to the wall.
Yeah.
Gotcha. All right, very cool. So the front of the house, not big. Oh, there was that big old door right there, right? That cool door
Yeah,
with
that
like
was the old door that was there.
yeah. So I'll cut back to that as well. But now we're in kind of the kitchen. So I guess
Yeah.
that's where the seating will be.
Yeah, fridge was a weird location, electrical panel, weird location, but like I said, no crawl space or attic or nothing. So do what you had to do. I have a little powder room next to the kitchen because listen, it's not ideal to have it next to the kitchen, but it's better to have a powder room than not have a powder room.
Right.
So
And they had that full quote unquote bathroom down there,
yeah,
which we'll get. I'll show some footage of the full bathroom that used to be there, which I don't know how operational it was. They also, I think you're talking about it right here. There was those weird gas heaters. Do you remember those? Those like was it kerosene or were they
no,
gas?
it was natural gas, but it was like self ignition, meant for like a camper, pretty much.
Yeah, they were. I've never
Was
seen something like that in a house before, so that was interesting.
yeah.
But talk to us about the utilities here. So you had gas and obviously electric when you bought it. It was on a well?
The old well was hooked up, but city water was converted to city water. So I just
Okay.
completely eliminated the well,
Okay.
and it is natural gas. So I went with a gas furnace, gas stove, I believe. I don't even know if I went with a gas stove actually.
I don't think you did. Yeah, it looks like it's
Yeah, it's
flat.
electric. The only thing that's gas is the
The
furnace.
furnace, which is
Um,
much nicer in my opinion. They work much better from my experience.
Well, yeah. So if it was my personal house, I would have went gas stove. I would have went gas water heater. But for a rental property, an electric stove is cheaper. An electric water heater is cheaper. Just the
Are they
cost of it in
less
general.
maintenance too?
What's that?
Like less maintenance as a landlord? Like
No, no. But it's not less maintenance, but the actual cost of the appliance or whatever is cheaper. And for like a water heater, I don't have to run a power vent or flue or anything. You just run an electrical wire to it, and boom, you're done.
so you're walking out into, I guess, what's considered the living room.
Yeah, a small little living room with a little closet off to the side. That's where the water heater is.
little utility
Not
closet
much.
under the stairs. I guess you could put your broom or mop under there or something. And what's the
Yeah.
floor? I didn't even know. So it's vinyl flooring,
Yeah, we went with the luxury vinyl flooring.
luxury vinyl.
Yeah.
And then talk to us about what you found under those stairs.
Well, yeah. So the house was completely demoed for probably about a month or so. And then one day I was knocking brick out for my HVAC, and then some of the brick fell underneath the staircase. So I was reaching back there to try to grab the brick out, and I seen this bag. There's a duffel bag, and I opened the duffel bag, and there's a shopping bag wrapped in it, another shopping bag wrapped in it, another shopping bag wrapped. I finally ripped it. I thought I found gold or money. Yeah,
So
so I ripped the bag open, and there was 5 grenades and pins staring at me in the face. So immediately I decided to exit the building. And before I called the police, I called my buddy Steve, Tile Forever, or Do Anything Forever. And he came by. He wasn't afraid at all. He went in there like nobody's business. He didn't completely rip the bag open, but he was looking. He's like, "Yeah, it looks like they might be empty. I can't tell, but I did call the police after he confirmed that I wasn't going crazy." The Hulmeville Borough Police was just one police officer for like the whole
yeah,
borough.
but aren't from around here. Hulmeville Borough is like this tiny little.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he was panicking. Decided to try to tell neighbors to evacuate their house and stuff. And I'm like, relax, pal. There's 3 layers of brick on this house. Even if it blows up, you ain't even going to hear the noise outside.
It's just gonna break the windows and a bunch of smoke's gonna be coming out.
Yeah. And then state troopers showed up. So the state troopers were called, and the bomb squad, Philly bomb squad, was called. State troopers showed up first. They went in there, and they realized that the grenades were actually empty. They were black grenades. And so what I found out, which is important, is most likely if the grenade is not green, it is not a real grenade. But the bomb squad showed up, and they just took them out, and they're like, yeah, they were actually practice grenades for the U.S. military. So I asked him, I said, can I keep them? And he said, no, you can't, because they're technically part of the U.S. government. So the property of the U.S. government, you have to give them back. I don't know if that's BS he was giving me,
Yeah,
but
they're sitting in his house in a cool plaque right now.
probably. I did steal a primer though before they showed up. Steve took it out. Steve had the balls to take them out, but they did take them, and that was the end of that. It wasn't live, but he did tell me like a couple months before that, some guy in Yardley did find a live grenade in the floorboard when he was remodeling his house. That was a grenade from World War II, and it was live, and they had to take that grenade out in a bomb box, they call it. He put it in a box, so if it does explode, it won't shoot scrap metal everywhere. But that was that drama. Cops were shut down the whole neighborhood, and to find out they were just practice grenades anyway. So
yeah, I think my favorite part of that though is that you called me to tell me what had happened, and I happened to be in the airport coming home from Miami. You're going crazy saying bomb and grenade over and over again, and I'm like,
What's wrong with saying bomb on an airplane?
You can't say bomb on an airplane.
Bomb, 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 bomb.
like, I want to have this conversation really bad right now because I'm very curious, but that's not what I want to say in the airport. I was in line at the TSA. I was like, this
that's a bad conversation to have.
But anyway, so I think that takes the cake for most interesting thing we found. So anyway, so it looks like you carpeted the stairs and head on up.
Stairs. So you come up, this is going to be the master bedroom here. So this deck was existing. I just repainted it, put a new slider in, put some new windows in. Not a whole lot of fanciness to it. It is technically cathedral ceiling, but it's still a low ceiling. Like I said, all that roof framing was existing. This is the backyard. There's a nice shed back there, but it's up to the homeowner whether he wants to clear it or clean it or whatever. But it is a nice shed.
The renter.
Or the renter, yeah. So this is the second floor bath.
So this house has 1.5 baths.
Yeah, so this bathroom is what I dormered out. So I lifted the ceiling a little bit to get an actual real bathroom in it before before it was really low.
I think it was like where the sink was, it was spraying like into the tub, and you were standing. I got some footage of it. You were standing in there getting sprayed in the face.
The very small bathroom. Try to fit in this one. You don't get blasted in the face while you're showering.
Don't be afraid to ride the lightning.
weren't
Yeah, it was
actually
pretty
getting
pathetic.
sprayed in the face, but it was a really bad situation, which is probably why they had that really nasty shower downstairs. The dormer basically took that pitch and like raised it up, right?
Mm-hmm.
It
Just
doesn't actually
raised the
push it
ceiling of the
out
roof.
anymore. It just kind of
No.
gives you some more elevation.
Yeah, no, it doesn't push it. And I don't like to dormer or put additions or something on rental properties because, like I said, they reassess your taxes. But this was absolutely necessary in this property.
And then these are probably some of the funkiest like bedrooms I've seen, but it's because of
Yeah.
like the additions and everything they did on this house over the years, I guess.
So I think originally this house was a single story house with a high attic or something, and they framed it in. I think the permit said in like the 80s or 90s. And where I'm standing now is actually the old, like, I guess I assume it's the deck area. And once again, I would have taken that wall out, but it's 3 layers of brick. So I kind of made this like a nice closet sitting area, I guess you can call it.
You needed to keep this as part of the bedroom because it has the windows. So it can't be
Yeah,
considered a bedroom without windows and a closet. Is that correct?
yeah, yeah. They're not egress windows, but they are windows, and you kind of want something like that in the bedroom.
And then this is basically another bedroom, just a mirror
It's
copy.
the yeah, it's the same thing, and just carpet all up on the second floor.
And I think you did a completely new roof, right?
Yeah, I sheathed the roof and reshingled it for the most part.
And also, we're going to go outside in a second here, but you completely sided the place. Well, I guess you re-sided anywhere that had that old like lap board. You left the brick, but it now has vinyl
Yeah,
siding on it.
yeah. So basically, the additions they put on is what I did vinyl siding.
And you also did a really well, Tapia, I should say, did a really nice job with these pavers out here. I think we're going to come back
Mm-hmm.
and see those in a minute. Yeah, so I can cut back to out here when you first bought the place because you were talking about all this, but down here originally you were considering like framing all this in and making that part of the living space, but you ended up just leaving it. And then this was a stairwell that went up to that master. So there was actually a doorway down here.
Yeah.
You could walk up into that master, and you converted
Yep.
this into the kind of utility room for all the HVAC, and which worked out well, I guess, because that stairwell was kind of like useless, wasn't it?
Yeah, and like I said, this is a total nightmare for HVAC.
So that that space ended up being utilized, which was good.
And this is underneath that master bedroom. This soffit, so I insulated that very well. Foam board and rock wool insulation.
And then I think here we're just kind of walking around the house, taking one last look. So it like looks like a very large house from the outside, but I guess it's just kind of
Yeah.
chopped up in a funky way. But turned into a nice project. I mean, it was definitely a pain in the neck for you, but I don't know. You
Yeah.
happy with it?
I mean, it'll do for rental property. I might decide to sell it in the future, or maybe 10, 20 years from now, just knock it down and build a nice house on it,
Yeah.
and decide to sell it. But it's good rental income, so I can't complain about it. I got it for a decent price. It's in a good school district. You won't lose on a property that's in a good school district with
Mhm.
low property taxes.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. All right. Well, that's about it. So, any final thoughts on the Hulmeville property?
Nah, it was a very weird house. I'm glad that thing's over with.
So this concludes our first podcast slash video version of Jesus Screws. So signing out. Go Birds, go Phils. We'll see you later.
That's it.